Welcome to another episode of Ecom at One, and today's guest is Ellis, the Director of Hive Digital Media and star of The Apprentice, and also Hiddn Travel. How are you doing, Lewis? You okay?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm very well, very well. I'm loving the microphone.
I know. I just realised it's in shot, isn't it? And I was like, damn it, but it's there now, so it can just stay there.
All good, all good. So maybe I thought we could just kick off with a little introduction from yourself, please, Lewis, if that's all right.
Yeah. So my name's Lewis from Manchester. I was on The Apprentice this year. I just on 2019's Apprentice, which actually will be the only one for the next year, I believe, because it's been cancelled. And I am working in marketing. I'm a digital marketing director at an agency in Manchester. I'm also co-founder of a travel brand called Hiddn Travel. So busy boy.
Yeah, lots of things going on. So I guess every interview you do, obviously the Apprentice gets brought up. So I think we'll fire into that straight away, and then we'll focus on some other bits as well. So what was your motivation behind going on The Apprentice?
Do you know what? Here's a weird story for you. So I watched the film Yes Man a few years ago, and ever since that point, I made a promise to myself. I made a covenant to say yes to every opportunity, and I'm not even taking the mick. And I did that for quite a few years. And come round to 2018, it popped up in my feed, and I thought, you know what? It's another opportunity. I'm not going to say no. I just applied. I thought, I've watched the show before. I'm probably at a point where I could probably get on it. Filled it out, was really honest and open, and forgot all about it.
Yeah, oh, really? So how long went by from filling it in to sort of being on it then, was it?
So I think I filled it in around my birthdays. So I'd have been just turning 28 at August time. And then I didn't hear anything back until, I think it was like January. I was coming out the gym and I just got an email. And I was like, oh, I haven't even got a suit. And then I thought, well, should I even bother going? Because there'll be thousands of people, and I know that loads and loads apply. But I took the risk, and I went and bought a suit. And obviously, I didn't need to wear one because I work in digital. So I bought a suit. I went down there on a Saturday, spent the entire day there. Took about, I think, 9 hours in total for the first interview round.
Oh wow, blimey.
I started feeling like I was getting somewhere when people started saying to me, I was getting through round after round, and people started saying to me, you look like you belong on The Apprentice. You look like an Apprentice person. I was like, that's such an insult. But I started to get a vibe that I was getting somewhere through it. Yeah, that was the first one.
So you watched the film Yes Man, and literally it's just like, no fear, everything, just yes, pretty much.
Well, I've tried to trace where it came from, and I've got it on my YouTube from years ago where I've sat in front of a camera and I'm really sad, and I've literally just been speaking to myself. It's like a video diary, and I'm saying, I'm sick of not getting where I want to be in life. From this moment forward, I'm going to take every opportunity. And it sounds like a stupid thing to do, but actually, I didn't like how my life was. I knew I wanted more, and I knew I wanted to achieve more. And since that point, I've taken every single opportunity that came along. Obviously, not everyone, but I've weighed it up and I've gone, if it sounds like something I don't want to do, but it still has a potential positive, I do it anyway.
So that's a great bit of advice for the guys that are listening into the podcast. Just sort of plow through. Don't worry. Get on with it.
The weirdest things have happened. Things that you wouldn't even imagine, like because you say yes to things. It sounds stupid. I'm not saying yes to every opportunity. Don't get me wrong, but if there's a potential for me, for example, I once got asked if I wanted to go to a trampoline park in Manchester before it opened with some of my friends. So I agreed to do that because I was like, why not? And then I managed to get a company that does Nerf guns to give me Nerf guns to go to trampoline park, and their staff came with me. And then I had a group of people, so I decided to do Hunger Games. So I ended up filming this Hunger Games sort of battle on a trampoline park at 8 a.m. before it opened, just because I started pulling a thread and seeing where it went. And actually, because of that, I met the people that own the businesses, and I made friends with them, and all because I said yes to someone going, would you be interested in this?
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but the weirdest opportunities come out of it.
Yeah. Totally relate to that. So obviously we only see the bits that get edited down on The Apprentice, and I'm sure sort of behind the scenes there's a lot of crazy stuff goes on. Can you remember sort of one of the funniest parts of recording the series?
Yeah, you're allowed to swear.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Well, I know it wasn't me that swore, but no, I remember me and Ryan Mark were at Thorpe Park, and we were walking past a Nemesis Inferno, and the Nemesis Inferno was obviously in the in-betweeners. And so a lot of people will talk about in-betweeners whilst they're on the ride. And as we walked past the front of the ride, we were in suits, and people just shouted. One person shouted suit wanker, and the other one shouted briefcase wanker, because we had the briefcase as well. And I was like, wow, that was pretty good.
That's brilliant. I guess that wasn't on the show. That was that on the after show even.
What? They didn't even know I heard it. Just me and Ryan Mark. I was like, what? He just called you a briefcase wanker, called me a suit wanker.
Yeah,
I thought it was brilliant.
Brilliant. So what would you say would be your sort of biggest takeaway from the show from a business point of view?
Do you know what? I think one of the things, I know that there's a lot of things that you can learn from those sort of shows. One of the things that I realized was that it sort of reaffirmed the idea of just jumping into things. Now, when you do a pitch on that show, it might seem like you've got it prepared or whatever, but actually you generally get taken to a location, you film walking in, and then within a few minutes you're going out in front of people. You don't really get much time to prepare. You might get a couple of minutes, if anything, to prepare a speech whilst talking to complete strangers or professionals in that field. So that was quite daunting, but it reaffirmed that sort of idea of just jumping in and just giving it a go, and just getting used to winging it, really.
Because you do wonder when you watch the show, yeah, absolutely, that you obviously see as a watcher, as watching the show, you get given that task, and then obviously it cuts to you doing the task. Is there quite a timeline between the two? But you're saying no, pretty much you're straight into it, getting on with it. You've got to think on your feet.
How really boring would it be if they let you prepare for things?
Yeah.
Like they don't want you to do well. It doesn't make good TV.
They want the sound bites, don't they, if you're screwing up?
Oh yeah. But again, that sort of just going with it and figuring it out and just not showing fear was something that I took away from it. Yeah.
I mean, listening to obviously quite a lot of your things online, your YouTube, your different videos. Obviously, you've got a lot of stuff out there, more and more. It seems. It seems that just that attitude of just getting on with it, and getting yourself out there seems to sort of run through you very much. So good for you, mate. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think similar to the same advice that pickup artists give to people who want to pull a girl. They walk into a bar. If you see a girl you like, you're supposed to walk over straight away. And if you get rejected, you get rejected. But you walk over straight away, so you don't have time to talk yourself out of it. Well, that's what they tell them. I do it, but the same thing for me, but for ideas. So if I think of something, before I have time to talk myself out of it, I will figure out how to do it and do it. And if it fails, it fails. But if it doesn't, then I'll carry on. And I've failed massively, don't get me wrong. And there's some ridiculously things that have just blown up in my face. But at the same time, yeah, I just sort of don't give myself time to talk out of it. I don't think about things too much, because if you do, then you're just never going to make it step.
Yeah, I think it's just keep taking those shots, because I think a lot of people are just afraid to take the shots in the first place, aren't they?
I was saying about the content the other day, I was saying, I want people to see all this content, all these different channels and all these different things, and think that I'm doing it with a team of people. I want people to be like, surely it can't just be him. But actually, it is me. And I want to just put that much stuff out and to take advantage of every opportunity that people will think, how does he do that? That's my personal aim at the moment.
So all the content at the moment, you are obviously preparing it, filming it, editing it, putting it out there, the design, everything. Yeah, that's
graphic trailers, soundtracks. I've learned Illustrator, Photoshop, and just learned Adobe Auditions.
I saw some of your new YouTube stuff, and I thought, oh yeah, and I had a feeling who was helping you. To be honest with it, I'm not about saying names, but I thought, oh, fair play. You've got some good guys helping you there, and I went, No, that's brilliant. That's
what I want. I want people to be like, surely he's got people doing it for him. No, it's all me. All from me. I mean, in the future, I can probably afford to pay someone to do it, but right now, I want to do it. I want to learn every single intricate piece of the puzzle, because I think that's what I enjoy a lot of. If you understand every bit of it, then actually when you do give it to someone else to do, and they give you some bullshit excuse, you'll be like, no, I've done it.
Yeah, they can't pull the wool over your eyes because you've been there, done it, got the t-shirt.
I think right now it's exciting and fun, but it's not. It will get mundane, I imagine.
Short-term thing, but yeah, brilliant. So, obviously, I keep seeing you popping up on the different channels on TikTok, doing your different TikToks. Yeah. So, who are you more likely to get onto a TikTok? Alan Sugar, Karen Brady, or Nick Hewer?
Well, you didn't say Claude, but I would have said Claude.
That would be the best.
Claude. God, between Lord Sugar and Karen, I wouldn't even. I'd just say Nick. Lord Sugar and Karen are just not fun. No, they're just dead. I've never seen them a fun side to them. Claude would have definitely 1,000% there.
So Claude in the interview stage, is he as fierce as he comes out of the TV series?
Yeah, no, he's very scary. But he in the actual interviews, obviously he's playing a part, so that's his role in the show. So he plays that. He doesn't break character. I only saw him break character a couple of times, and once where he told me off separately off camera because I was losing my shit one day. And when he came over at the end to the guys who were in the show still, and he came out of the boardroom and he was like, just let you know, I'm a real person. And we are nice. We just have to play.
Yes, I just love that bit where it's the interview stage and they all go in there. Everyone's cacking themselves, aren't they, basically? And he builds them up. This is actually quite a good CV. However, this business plan is a complete.
I left the interview. So obviously they only show bits of, I mean, the interview itself was like 25, 30 minutes per interview. You only see a couple of minutes. So, I mean, originally he just went in and shouted at me. And then after that, he was more open and like give you some positive feedback. So you can take that away. One of the things he said to me was like, he said, well, you know, I said, I came in here with a digital agency. That's what I originally applied with. I changed to travel because I thought, if you give me 250 grand, I'm going to do the business I've always wanted to do. I can start an agency without money. So I did a business plan just before the show quickly in a couple of weeks and pulled it together. And then I applied. So he said, I said, I came in with a digital marketing agency, but if you come in with that business plan, you would have won. He was like, but right now you're the right man with the wrong plan. And that's fair enough. But he did say some nice things about me on the, you know, why I fired them sort of thing.
Yeah.
No, it was Final Five videos. He was like, I think he likes the fact I'm passionate, and I don't know. He was he was how I expected him to be. I look up to a lot of these people, and he was one of the ones that I feel like would genuinely help someone who's trying to learn.
Yeah, brilliant. So, what would you say to somebody that's thinking of going on The Apprentice then?
I would say do it 1,000%, because again, my personal experience is just you take every opportunity that comes your way and your life will be different. There's no two ways about it. Things will change for you. That's another opportunity. If you don't take it, you'll be left thinking, what if? Someone said on Twitter to me, he was like, oh, I got through to the first interviews, but then on the way there, I went to a bar and I just decided not to go. And I was like, why would you brag about that? Why would you brag about not being the sort of person that follows things through? Because you could have got on the show.
Yeah, I guess the fear got in the way. Yeah. Wow.
People can say it's not fear. They might be like, oh, well, it's a better decision. But actually, from my perspective, it doesn't matter what the opportunity is. If it's different things will happen. Obviously, with this one, there's a lot of exposure and a lot of doors do open for you. Yeah, you might be made to look a bit silly and you might get people laughing and you might get trolls, but who cares? Like, for all the benefits and positives that come with it, I couldn't give two flying Fs.
Fair play. So, obviously, lots of content going out there. Tell us about the Norm vlog series.
Yeah, so that's an idea that came out of, I got speaking to a girl on LinkedIn and we decided to just do a video talking about tattoos. And I've been getting involved in a lot of vlogs and podcasts recently. So I was like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll just record it and put it online. And then after she asked me to edit the footage, so I started editing it and I thought, you know what? I used to do these sort of interviews a few years ago when no one had even heard of me because I wanted to meet entrepreneurs and I wanted to learn about them and just, you know, get into their circles. So I thought, why am I not doing it now? I've stopped doing it. I put it off for a few years. Time to get back to it. And now maybe I'll be able to get more interesting guests because people might have heard of me or because people can see what I'm doing now. So the thought has always been there. A few years ago, there's videos and interviews that when I was younger, I'm just bringing it back again and just putting a new spin on it. The fuck the norm is basically the ethos behind who I am as a person. I refuse to follow everyone else's rules. I don't care. And I'm not scared to be myself. And a lot of people feel like they're pushed and forced into a certain box that they have to fill. Like, I don't know, you go into a career, you get told to act a certain way, dress a certain way, speak a certain way. And after 4 or 5 years, you can't tell you from anyone else. So I'm sort of getting back to the point where people are asking me, well, how are you doing all this? And what's your motivation? I'm like, let me just tell you how it is. It's nothing special. It's no magic. I just take every opportunity that comes my way and I don't think about it. I just take action. It's that simple. And I just refuse to be molded into anyone else's sort of perceptions of who I should be. Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's not me trying to tell anyone what to do or how to think. It's if you want to change your life and if you feel like you want to be someone different, but you don't know how to do it, well, I'm going to show you people who have done it and who have been different and it has worked out for them. And you can take that from their learnings and you can apply it to your own life.
So a lot of good chat with people that have done it. A lot of good chat around the mental side of things, because that's usually the block, isn't it? Most people are maybe ingrained in a certain way or been taught a certain way through going to college, uni, a certain type of career, but they're out and sort of herded into a certain direction in their career. Or
I got told. I mean, personally, I'm quite a flamboyant person. I like jump around. I tell jokes every day and whatever. And I got told to go into a career, you've got to grow up. You've got to act this way. You can't mess around. And I actually rebelled massively. I was like, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. And I went and found better jobs or jobs where they accepted my personality or whatever. And I've continued to do that. I have never stayed in a job. If I ever get told to act a certain way, I will leave and go and find another job. Regardless of whether I have money or not, there's never been a fear there. And that lack of fear has driven me to go from here to here. I was a college dropout 5-6 years ago, and now a master's graduate with a career in marketing. I'm a director and do you know what I mean? That trajectory doesn't happen because I followed the crowd. And I feel like the students and younger people, not necessarily people in far into their career, but younger people need to hear that you can just be yourself and you don't have to conform.
You try to instill that in your team. So within your agency, obviously you've got an agency that you're building. So you instill that into your team members as well, give them sort of the freedom, the creative freedom, and the ability.
We've literally just started this agency. So I say there's two guys that are behind it. They're the guys financing it, and I just get to come in and do what I want, which is quite easy. But they've asked me to sort of create an agency for them.
Yeah.
And so they've never had any kind of behaviors or any kind of core values in terms of digital agency before. We've got a team there. I guess right now it's just like I let them have free roam, and I'm trying to guide them.
Yeah.
As we get back to work, obviously we're working together. It will be something that is going to be a core. It's my core value. It's my behavior.
Yeah.
So if it's me, there's no way in hell is it not going to transfer through to everyone else that I'm working with.
Yeah.
Or it just wouldn't work.
Values that are going to go through the business. Yeah. Okay. So tell us about the travel business, Hiddn Travel.
Yeah. So I always wanted to start a travel company. I worked in travel for, I don't know, going on like 6 years. So I dropped out of college. I failed college 3 times. I got kicked out 3 times, literally kicked out. And then I went like, well, it's not working, so I'm going to go abroad. 18 years old, you can travel and work for travel companies. So that's what I did. I did that non-stop, summer, winter, till I was 21. And whilst I was abroad, I was watching these people and watching how these companies ran and watching how crap they treated their guests or where they cut corners and all these different issues. And I thought, this is just not okay. I also looked at the industry, the cities and the places where they were visiting, the types of holidays. And I could see that over time, that type of holiday was starting to die out. So this is going to the tail end of 1830 holidays.
Yeah.
And they're going out and getting pissed sort of thing. I could see the next generation of millennials who have Instagram were looking for something different. And then you now got Gen Z, which they are looking for something completely different. So actually, it's kind of the perfect mix and the perfect recipe. I've worked in the older way of working. I've seen how it shouldn't be done. I've grown up in the Instagram generation and I've been around my peers and understand what they need. And I can see how Gen Z are going to evolve and how other companies aren't taking note of that and aren't adapting. So because of that, I thought, I'm just going to start. Like, I've got no money. I don't know how we're going to do it. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know we didn't know what the first steps were, but we just started working together. I went and found a co-founder, my friend Luke. He used to work abroad and manage other travel companies. And between the two of us, we've just been figuring it out. And we were literally about to launch. But it's sod's law. I decided to start a travel company. And for the first time in living history, all international travel is banned. Is that even a sign?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, I have to admit, in our agency, we were just about to sign a very large villa. Literally, we were like 48 hours from signing a villa client with a very large villa client. We were already spending about 40 grand a month on paid ads, and we were like, "Yeah." It's it. Then it was like, "Oh, that's that then." All right, so that's sort of little bit of bubbling away in the background at the moment, and then is that the plan? Then obviously when things.
Yeah. Well, I think
we're allowed to travel and things ease up, and that'll come back.
Yeah, so I think, well, unfortunately, I can't see it. I think we'll come out and I think we'll go back into lockdown again because I've got a feeling it'll come back in a few months. So we're not rushing too much, but what it does give us time is to think about it in more detail and what we want to do. I've got a feeling when travel does open up, it's going to be so restricted. There's going to be so many different issues that it's going to be very expensive for quite a while. Yeah. For even just the normal flights, because you got to think about, like, flights generally run so cheap because they fill them, pack them. Yeah. That can't happen anymore. Airports, the way in which they work, people are herded and packed in there.
Extra expense everywhere.
Just the logistics of how travel currently operates is going to have to change. And because of that, it's going to have to be more expensive. And not only that, but the guys that are in the resorts and the hoteliers and the bars, they're trying to recoup their losses for the last summer, maybe. Yeah. So it's not going to be as cheap. As far as I can see it, it's going to be a really weird time for travel. So we are going to launch as soon as we can, and we'll look at it. But we were never designed to be cheap anyway. We were always designed to give people value. So, you know, we were looking for amazing locations, and you do pay more for that. But with that, you get an amazing experience.
Yeah, it is good. We'll keep an eye on that then as the months develop, and keep an eye on Hiddn Travel. I think, there was a lot of chatter, I think, when we first went into lockdown. Oh, it's going to be cheap holidays, but that's the completely opposite, isn't it? Yeah, I was reading about it yesterday.
Even if you take away all the logistical issues and all the lost profits and all the things that people need to recoup, and you still have the fact that the demand is going to far outweigh supply, which naturally will increase price of anything.
Yeah.
So add that on top of everything else, it ain't going to be cheap for a long time, if ever. And that's if the companies that are involved, and don't forget, companies might end up closing down as well. Like how the hell is Ryanair supposed to survive if they can't pack their flights?
No, I mean, it's going to be a lot of people, isn't there, unfortunately, that won't survive. I think, typically a lot of these firms will have a month or 6 months worth of cash flow, month or 6 months worth of sort of money. And obviously we're sort of 2-3 months into it. A lot of the smaller firms, a lot of the firm, that's quite normal. I think a lot of the big firms are reading, that do like hundreds of millions a month. They've got like 6 weeks worth of cash. So
I was looking into. I heard Jet2 were telling customers that in July they were gonna. So they'd refunded people before July, and they said, "Oh, July we're gonna start running our flights again, right?" And I was trying to figure out why they would say that, because it's very unlikely to be able to run. And even if it is, they've got to hope that every country they fly to is ready to receive tourism, and then those hotels and bars are going to be open for them to go. Do you know what I mean? So I was thinking, why would you say that? And I've realised because if they had to refund all their customers, they would go immediately bust.
They need them to move it, don't they? Rebook or hold rebook for next year, and then that'll be the difference between surviving or not surviving. I would think, yeah.
100%. And then it's really sad, but in a way, the silver lining for me and for Luke and Hiddn Travel is we decided we're going to start something new. Right now, the industry is going to have a sort of a cleanse. A lot of businesses that have been maybe clinging on or just saturating the market, or they'll go away, and then it makes room for smaller guys coming through, more forward-thinking people to take action. The same thing that happened when like the property bubble hit and the recession and everything. Anyone that started during that period, whilst every other business was failing because they had never prepared for it, if you start during that period, you're generally a much stronger business.
So obviously travel business right now, is sort of almost on hold, or waiting for signals and signs to which direction that might go. So in terms of the e-commerce side of things, the clients and things that you do within the agency, what sort of things are you doing with the agency that maybe the listeners, what are you seeing with your clients that's working, sort of marketing wise, strategy wise? What sort of tips could you give to people that are listening in that have got e-commerce stores? What sort of things?
Well, so I used to work in e-commerce, and it's a passion of mine. I became an e-commerce specialist for a while, which meant I just went to Argos and told Argos what to do. But the point was, the one thing I've noticed is that a lot of businesses probably didn't realize just how important their online stores are right now, were even, because they were like, oh, we've got brick and mortar, and you've got all the ignorant businesses that are quite traditional industries that go, we don't need e-commerce. Right now they do, and they've not got a choice. They have to change, evolve. And I find it interesting. So what stands out to me is I find it interesting that those that are, I use the word ignorant because if you are not a digital business selling your products and services online right now alongside a brick and mortar store, then I'm going to class you as ignorant, because it's important, because moving forward it's not going to go away. The internet's not going anywhere. So right now that's how they survive. I find it very interesting to see who actually still resists. I find it mad. I got talking to a guy. He was a liquidator. I was just ringing. So basically, I've been ringing businesses saying, you know what, you're going to try and survive through coronavirus. You want to try and get more traffic and sales online now, and I can help you. And I was giving free advice just because I was bored and I'm furloughed, and I was like, why not? And he just went, I'm not listening to anyone who's a marketer. We don't need any help. I went to their website, and the website literally says, we do not want a pretty website. We do not like marketers. And it had pictures of pennies on it, and they had white backgrounds, and it was just blocking.
I saw your post. You posted about it yesterday.
Yeah, that's the website. I couldn't believe how bad the website was.
Yeah.
But he was so they were liquidators, and I was thinking, surely they're going to be getting quite busy right now.
They're going to be back. You would think, yeah.
But I couldn't even find their phone number, and I was looking to ring them. Imagine how difficult it'd be if you're actually trying to find out what they do as a service, or how they work, or where they're based. And I just thought, businesses like that are led like that don't deserve the customers. Don't deserve the help.
A pandemic, and I don't want to use all the cliches and all the words, but in these unprecedented times, and if what's happening right now doesn't wake people up, then they've got bigger problems in their business than just sort of adapting and changing, because they're just not willing to change regardless of what is happening.
Yeah. I have this ethos in life where I used to try and tell people, like, come on, copy me, like, let's do this together, let's go and do this. And I realized a lot of people just say, no, I don't want to, or, oh, I'm not sure. I actually stopped asking people to do things with me, and I started doing things on my own, because you can't change someone's mind. If they're set in a certain way, you really can't change their mind. But actually it's a positive, because it means that the more people like that there are, the less competition there is for me. So if I've got a business and I'm in an industry, and I've noticed that my peers aren't making moves right now in them. You know, they're not running PPC ads. They're not running search and social ads. They're not running, you know, they're not improving their website. They're not focused on web traffic or SEO. If they just all pause everything and all my peers are doing that, I want to be the guy who goes out and gets that traffic, because it's up for grabs right now. And everyone that would have previously visited their store in person will go online. Yeah. So why not take advantage of that situation right now? I would be reaching, well, for me, I kind of know what to do, but if I didn't know anything about marketing, or I didn't know how to do stuff, I'd be reaching out to every agency going, now, because right now is the time to spend. I don't care what anyone says about holding onto your cash. What's the point in holding onto your cash if you just miss out on, you know, the 10 times return you could have had.
I agree. You know, the opportunity now, the demand for a lot of products, the demand for filling your pipeline, you know, post sort of out of lockdown, you know, the discounts on sort of clicks, costs on pay per click seems to be all down. You know, most industries, competition's a lot easier on SEO. You know, it's just a bit of a gold rush. You know, that's a bit of a broad statement, but yeah. So obviously, I keep seeing we touched on TikTok. Where do you see TikTok's place, or what you know, e-commerce TikTok? What's the sort of, where could that go? I know they've allowed certain advertising on there more recently. It's not something I'm that familiar with. I'm not on there. You won't find me on there as yet. My kid, I keep looking at it, and my kids, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're not going on there, are you? They're panicking because they think I'm going to go on TikTok.
Yeah. You do well.
Yeah, well, you never know. Where do you see that going, or where's the opportunity there in this next sort of six months or so for e-commerce stores? Do you feel?
Well, I've not run ads on there yet, but I imagine they'd be expensive just because it's so new. It reminds me of Snapchat in terms of the advertising platform, and Snapchat wasn't great. But what I would say is that I've read into what TikTok's plans are, and they have already started trialing your sort of e-commerce connected. So, you know, like Instagram, you click the post and it shows you all the products in it. Yeah. They're already trialing that sort of way of working in China, where you would see a video, you click whatever, and you go through to buy whatever. Yeah. So that's Shop Now functions in there, and so that will roll out. And then you've got ads. I think the ads are, the problem with the ads on TikTok are these kids like to take the piss out of everything. They're a meme generation. They will, as in not, they're a meme generation as well, but meme, M-E-M-E. So they have grown up taking the piss out of everything always. So whenever you see an advertiser on TikTok, the comments are all taking the mick. If you ever come across as pushy or salesy on there, they will all hound you and take the mick out of you, because you're not part of their culture. You're just trying to push your own agenda. They don't work like that.
Yeah, which is anti,
Yeah, well, they are anarchists by nature. Their app is anarchistic? I don't know, whatever. They are by nature against everything, but for fun. So you need to be a part of that culture. So using it for brand building is fantastic. Being more transparent is great. If you've got a younger target audience, fantastic. You just make videos and they will naturally come across to your channel, and they will naturally look into your products because they are inquisitive. Joining with trends, have some fun. You're going to look a twat. There's no way around it. So, my only advice to everyone right now would just play with it, figure it out, and look stupid, because what might look stupid to you anywhere else on the internet, on TikTok, is normal. But I can see the e-commerce linking coming. I think the ads are fantastic, but right now you don't need any of that sort of stuff. I would say the ad platform will be very similar to Facebook and Instagram as well. I think it'll very much be that sort of pay for reach and impression.
Maybe start having a play with it in terms of on the organic side, figuring it out for when maybe the ads platform matures a bit more. Obviously, it's very, very new. You know, would that be fair?
Yeah, I think I like to look at this now, like when Instagram first rolled out, when Facebook first came out, and everyone would naturally like everything. I remember that my Facebook used to say, I like In-Betweeners, the film The Mask, Dumb and Dumber. Like, I used to like all my favorite films and like all this sort of stuff. And you'd write on someone's wall when you wanted them. Like, so right now it's that sort of completely organic, honest engagement. No one can make any money as an influencer. So people are just following people naturally. So right now is the time to build a real audience. When it starts making money, when it starts being an advertiser platform, and there's money at play, people will start being stingy with the follows, stingy with the likes, because they will think, oh, if I like their post, they might make some money. Yeah. So right now is the perfect time to start playing with it. And that's the best piece of advice I can give you. But it's going to be
very similar to, like say, very similar to a lot of channels. You know, they start off as, you know, a bit of a fad, you know, or whatever what you want to call it, and then as time and obviously their audience their numbers, their millions progress. Obviously, they then start developing an ad platform that goes with it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, and those that are early adopters quite often, you know, get the cheaper traffic, get the cheaper eyeballs. So yeah, I think it's one to look out for the e-commerce stores listening in. Early days. Well, I think everyone that's listening, keep an eye on Lewis's TikTok, because obviously that will evolve as it is doing, you know, as a sort of leader on TikTok on e-commerce. So that'll be good to keep an eye on. So in terms of the different marketing channels for e-commerce stores, is there any sort of specific channels that you would sort of recommend? Obviously I know there's a lot of sort of caveats to any answer to that, but is there any sort of specifics there you would recommend to e-commerce stores?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends obviously on who. Like all marketing is very simple. It's who you're trying to target, how do they speak, and where can you find them. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And you just produce content to match that. But for me, I always, it doesn't matter what the e-commerce store is or what the channel is, that depends on, the channel will depend on who you're trying to target. But right now, for me, with any e-commerce business, the first thing I do is I look at in-house. As in, by in-house, I mean, what does your website look like? Can I find areas of friction in your website? Is it open and honest? Is there ways in which a customer could get confused and have to go somewhere else? And actually, 9 times out of 10, whenever I go through a website, I can find a shared load of issues, loads of problems, and loads of friction areas, which might not sound like a lot. But actually, if I'm trying to buy this microphone, which I bought yesterday on Amazon, and I can't figure out whether it has a sound card in it or not, because you've missed that one detail out, I'm going to go find it somewhere else. It sounds so silly. The wire length, you know, whether it will get wet and damaged, where it needs to be placed. Like, I know it needs to go there because the actual instructions on the thing had a picture of it. These are so simple. Product videos showing it. Like, so information, product information, then also looking at I also then look at websites and match it to SEO. So, you know, Google search, the way in which search works, you know, they search by keyword, or they search by product number, or they search by color. Does my website have those labels on there that match that? Do I just have microphone, or do I have black microphone, windproof, and the product number to make sure people can find it? Because people search on Google how they do the website. So I start in-house, is what I'm trying to say. Discover those friction points, and only then will I start spending money out there in any other channel.
So a real strong user-friendly experience all the way through that flow. Yeah. I think you're right. I think a lot, definitely, you know, a lot of sites, they sort of, you know, they think they've, you know, they maybe spent a bit of money on design, you know, got a nice theme and spent a bit of money on a designer, or vice versa, or, you know, had something built from scratch, whatever it may be. They've imported their products, but then they, you know, you get to that product page, it's just dead simple, and they haven't thought it through. They haven't got all that extra info that you know, talked about: reviews, product reviews, video demonstrations. You have to admit, I've been looking at, obviously all sat at home doing our thing, aren't we? Creating content and various side projects and this, that, and the other. And I bought myself it's in my, it's over here actually. I bought myself one of these gimbal type things.
Oh yeah, they're wicked then.
Yeah, and they are absolutely amazing. It was like 80 quid. It's like unbelievable for what it is.
Is it one for a camera or for a phone?
Yeah, it does the whole, you know, you unlock it, and then it follows you around. You know, you lock it on your face, and then wherever you go, you know, it follows you around. But exactly what you just said, you know, I went to various websites to have a look, and the ones that, something like that, it's quite a lot of questions you've got. You know, does it follow you? Does it, you know, how long's the battery last for? So I'm like, right, video, straight to videos, watching the videos, and the sites that had the videos had the reviews. You know, I bought the site that had the best, you know, I bought from the site that had the best, you know, experience around the product, rather than just the manufacturer details, basic copy paste, or even just straight from a CSV and import.
So there's the next thing as well. So this is what, so again, I used to go to Argos and tell them off, because this is basically what I did. So Argos, as a retailer, would get their production, so their copy, their imagery, their videos, all comes from the people that make the products, the manufacturers. Manufacturers use the same copy, same images everywhere on the internet. So whoever puts it on their website first gets the benefits of the SEO. Because obviously then everywhere else it goes is duplicate content. Something so simple, but it's aligning basically aligning best practice SEO with your website, aligning best practice user experience with your website. What is the point in spending money on advertising if when you get to your website it's crap? Or all you do is you raise awareness of the product. People go, I want to buy that. They come to your website, they can't find the right information, so they go to your competitor and buy it. Because they have the correct information. So unique copy, unique content. I hate this word, A-star copy, or Amazon first copy, or whatever the hell they used to say. It's ridiculous. It just means stuff it with keywords. It's not about that. It's just real features and benefits. There's another thing as well. People add features, but they never add benefits. They'll go, oh, it's a shiny black microphone that is windproof. So, because I don't know anything about microphones, it's windproof because when the wind blows, it sounds like someone's farting down the tube. I don't know. Like, It sounds so simple, but actually, I encourage anyone. I'm not talking about marketing channels wise. It depends on who you're trying to reach. But if you want to do something right now, take some time, go through your products, right? And also, it's very interestingly, Pareto's law will probably apply. So you'll probably find that 80% of your sales come from 20% of your products. So the first thing that I would do right now is sit with a list of those 20% of those products. I would go through them with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that it has unique copy. It has 8 images. It has a video. Does the product title have all the right attributes that people might search from a website? Is it easy to find? And make sure that if I came to that website with any idea of what I wanted to do, I would buy it because all the information is there.
Yeah.
I'd start with those first 20%.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely gold there, guys. Anyone listening in now, 80-20, we talk about it all the time in our agency. Absolutely bang on. We actually have a book.
Oh, God damn it. I led him into
Let me prepared this.
I led him into a sale.
Who could make it up?
It's so true. So true.
Where to start, drilling in, right, rewriting that 20% or 20% of the 20%, rewriting those product descriptions, focus on those products. Fantastic. I think, just so many sites we see, I think, that just, they spend all that money on look and feel potentially, but then they miss, those products. Ultimately, when somebody goes to a site, they're going to a product, an e-com store is based on product. You've got that brand at the front end, and yeah, that's very important. But you've got those products that ultimately they've typed in that product name, that product code, that product manufacturer partner, but they've landed on that page. But if that page, obviously, if you've got just a generic description that's come from a manufacturer, they're not going to find you on SEO to start with because you'll be on page 3 or whatever. But then, if you haven't got a well-crafted page with all that extra stuff on, you're just not going to inspire them to click the button. So yeah.
One thing I noticed a lot of was that a lot of companies have obviously evolved. So, and they might have added their first product 5 years ago, and they've changed the website since. But their first products that they added might be where most of their sales come from still. So they've never gone back. They never revisit the products they had. They just throw new products on there and move on to the next one.
Yeah.
The next season, the next, summer, spring, or autumn, winter, whatever. But actually, it could be something that was on there previously that gets them those sales. And if they just change the copy and adapt to the new way of working, or make sure it's mobile friendly or whatever, they'll increase their sales by 20-30%. But 30% of £1 million of sales is a lot of money.
Yeah.
This is what I did for Argos, and we saw, when I say a huge, I mean a huge uplift in sales. So much so that they were asking me to sit with their digital team and explain to them what I'd done for Remington and George Foreman, so they could apply it to every other customer and every other client. And it was a case of just best practice. Is it aligned with SEO? Treat it like a website. Every product listing, treat it like a website. But on top of that, is there any friction areas? Do I have features without benefits? It sounds so simple. It's all basic, but it's those basics that really make the difference in a sale or not.
Brilliant, Lewis. Thank you. Right. So last couple of questions. So what advice would you give to brands and e-commerce stores that are looking to build their Instagram follower account? I know you're very big on social and Insta. Yeah. So what sort of advice can you give the guys listening in?
Sorry, my dog's eating something. One sec. Eating my shirt. So for me, I think I've been finding it quite difficult. So I've never really tried to build my personal Instagram. I've done it for companies and websites. One thing, we've tried all sorts. We've done the thing where you run ads in different countries like Slovenia for random countries and see if they get followers. It works. You do get followers, but they don't buy anything. So there's no benefit. Yeah. So the first thing I would say to any brand that wants to increase their following and be like, why? What's your reason? If it's an ego boost, or if it's just, I want to look better than my competition, don't even bother wasting your money or time, because it's not going to lead you anywhere. It doesn't matter whether you have 10,000, 20,000, 100,000. When you get there, like, I thought having a blue tick would change my life. It didn't. Nothing happened. It's irrelevant. It might make you feel better for a day. So
it was a good day. It was a good fist pump for a day, was it?
I was hungover and I was like, oh yeah, it's there. And that was it. But that's my point. So once you get it, it's irrelevant. So actually, in terms of an actual real target, make it something that's going to generate business. So why are you trying to do that? I would say that the best way to do it would be what we've been doing with Hiddn is we've been working with great content creators, and we share their content. We don't try and create everything ourselves because we're not specialists. We're not in resorts like that right now. So we use other people's content and we tag them in it as well, and we share those links and they share our links. So very collaborative way of working for our Instagram. I like to engage people. So I like to, again, be open and honest on my personal Instagram, which is just like, if something funny happens, I share it. If someone sends me a message saying I'm going to hell and that there's one on my Instagram right now, which is like, God says that the word fuck in the norm means that you're going to hell. I shared it because I thought it was hilarious. So being honest and open about who you are and what you do day to day. Again, similar to how TikTok works. Yeah. Repurposing content is quite good as well. I found that TikTok videos on Instagram do really well because people on Instagram haven't seen it on TikTok. They don't understand that's a trend.
That's great. Yeah, I think I saw your TikTok videos on LinkedIn, I think, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That was me just doing a test.
And I watched it because I was like, oh, exactly what you just said. I thought, oh, TikTok on LinkedIn, no one's doing that, and I'm not on TikTok, and I'm not that familiar with it personally, so it made me want to look at it. And now my sort of TikTok, I'm on the ladder of number 2 on the ladder of probably 50 steps, but I'm on the ladder sort of thing. TikTok's in my back.
In 2 weeks, you'll be in a wig singing Tiger King songs. That's what I was on a bike with a wig on. I started trying to find new things for I'm talking about personal Instagram again now. I'm trying to find new things like TikTok videos, like those trending videos that are funny there that everyone does. And they might get views there, but if you share that on LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram, they generally generate a great engagement. I've started hashtagging again on Instagram. A lot of people have stopped. So if everyone stopped doing it, I'm going to start doing it because, again, that's natural engagement. But also, here's something interesting I'll share with you, which is my personal observation. TikTok's way of working is via hashtags. Everyone has to hashtag, otherwise it doesn't get seen by anyone. So people are getting back to, the younger kids are getting back and used to hashtagging things again, whereas everyone stopped. So if you started to do that,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and you search via hashtags. So if everyone's searching that on TikTok, well, they're going to start doing it again on Instagram. So look at your followers, look at what hashtags they follow, collect them, have a copy and paste note ready, use a hashtag generator, whatever it is. Look at the content, make it interesting and collaborate. They're my top tips for Instagram.
Brilliant. Okay, so last couple, final couple. So we always like to end on a book recommendation. To sort of the guys that are listening in, what would be your sort of number 1 book recommendation at the moment?
Literally the first that popped in my head was the one that's on the side next to the bed that I haven't opened, and I've had it for about a year, which is really annoying me because I listen to audiobooks when I drive usually.
Oh, yeah, audio more, yeah.
I would start with, do you know what I really like? I know everyone's read it. It annoys me that everyone's read it. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is one of the best, because I've got it on audiobook and I listen to it a lot and I've repeated it over and over again. Every time I listen to it, I get something different from it. Every single time. So that's I mean, everyone's heard that one though. Everyone's seen it. I would go with a really weird one as well, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
I've not actually read that. I know everyone that I know recommends it, or a lot of friends recommend it, but I've not actually read it.
I'm recommending that because I got recommended to me when I reached out at 21 years old. I sent a big long email to this very successful entrepreneur, multimillionaire, and he came back with a voice note and it made me cry. But one of the books he recommended was The Richest Man in Babylon. He said there's a secret in there, read it, and when you get through the book, read it again, and you'll start to realize what the secret is. I don't know if I've got it yet. Still, I've read it about, God knows, 20 times. But it's one of those ones that it's like an old fable style book. It tells a story of, it's quite biblical to be fair, but not actually religious. It's like biblical times. But the point is, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. So The Richest Man in Babylon.
All right, we'll get that on the list then. So the guys that are listening that want to find out more about you, Lewis, where's the best place for them to go? Which websites or social media or?
Well, you can type F* fuck with a star, the norm, on YouTube or on Spotify at the moment. Or you can find me on Twitter. I'm Lewis Ellis, or Instagram Lewis_Ellis. Or just type Lewis Ellis in. It's going to come up because I'm good at marketing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you'll find me if you just type Lewis.
Don't find Lewis. That's your problem, not Lewis's problem, I think.
No, I think I've just spent so much time obsessing over whether my links show on Google and that you can find me now.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Lewis, thank you so much for being on the show. And I look forward